Assalamualaikum warahmatullah wabarakatuhu, my dear happy investing females. So when I coach sisters and I ask them about the most challenging time of their life, it's usually when they face an unexpected emergency or crisis. Because in these situations, what usually happens is also they are missing the finances and resources to deal with this emergency. And while they are in the emergency, they're trying to build up the resources at the same time, which is just very, very difficult, draining emotionally, psychologically, and can leave a lot of trauma. This happened to me as well in the past. And this situation that I faced in the past with this emergency and difficulty became the biggest motivation on why I learned everything about personal finance and halal investing in particular, and why I want to share this knowledge with you, inshallah. I'm Selvie, I'm the founder of Her Islamic Finance, and here I want to give you all the tools that you need, inshallah, to reach your financial safety and freedom as soon as possible. The topic of today is about emergency funds. A very important and useful tool on how to prepare ourselves for these emergencies or crises that come in unexpected ways, inshallah. Now, an emergency fund is, as you hear, a fund that is preparing you for the case of emergency, inshallah. Usually it is calculated as 3 times your monthly expense, meaning that you take all the bills that you have to pay on a monthly basis and take this number and multiply it by 3. I want to be clear. We don't take your income, for example, if you have a salary, but we take really the expense that you spend on a monthly basis and multiply it by 3. And why do we do that? Because we say an emergency fund should help you to bridge 3 months of your expenses in case of an emergency. Essentially, you should be able to live off this money in your emergency fund for 3 months in case you have an emergency. What kind of emergency can we think of? One that is very obvious is, for example, losing your job. And then you see exactly how it relates to your emergency fund, because the fund will give you 3 months' time to find a new job. Or we can also think about health issues. We can think about other crises of your family members, for example, that you want to help out and support with. And we say generally 3 months of your monthly expenses, 3 months of your expenses is a good number for your backup, inshallah. Now, these 3 months are just a general guideline. Maybe in your specific situation, you want to tweak it and adjust it to your needs. For example, if you live in a country that has a very strong unemployment insurance, that as soon as you would lose your job, you will have money from the government to substitute, or if you have family members that are well off and that, you know, in case of an emergency, you would support each other, you could say, you know what, I'm going to put 2 months of expense in my emergency fund. In case you have the need to feel even more safe and elevate this feeling of safety for yourself, you can also choose to put 4 months in your safety and emergency fund, inshallah. And this emergency fund really should be set up as a separate account where you put saved money on. Now, I'm all about halal investing, but for the emergency fund, usually you keep it in cash on a separate account, because you want to avoid that in case an emergency comes, you will have to pull out, sell your investments in an unfavorable time, that maybe the market is down in this particular time. And in emergency, you just have to act in this immediate time. So by not investing this money and saving it instead, you avoid this loss, and you just really have this money, cash, sitting on the side securely to give you this safety, inshallah. Now, why is an emergency fund so important, and what will it change for your life? First of all, you will have a new sense of security and safety, meaning that you will not be worried so much on challenges coming up your way, because you know you took precautions and you are a responsible sister, inshallah. And you know that even if someone around you is in trouble, you would be able to help, right? And you also will know that it will give you a sense of freedom, because by having this emergency fund, you will have freedom of choice. Meaning that if an emergency comes up, you don't have to rely on anyone. You can rely on your emergency fund, inshallah. You don't have to be dependent on any state, on any bank, giving you a loan, for example, on other people. You will have this emergency fund and will be independent and not have to beg to anyone except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help yourself, inshallah. It will also give you the freedom to make certain choices for your own well-being. For example, we have been talking about this being a safety for you in case you lose your job, right? If you have an emergency fund, you actually also can choose to leave an abusive and harmful job situation. You can choose to leave. You don't have to wait to lose your job. You don't have this sense of dependence anymore on this job, because you know that you can leave the situation. You can say stop. You can live off your emergency fund for 3 months, for example, and you can find a new job, inshallah. As well, it will just give you a general peace of mind, because you know you have resources to deal with it. So in order to set this up now, you will, inshallah, choose a separate account and start building your emergency fund. Now, please be patient with yourself and don't expect that maybe now you heard of this emergency fund the first time in your life. Don't expect that you now have 3 months of expenses ready on the side to immediately put into your emergency fund. Maybe you have to build it first, but building this will already also give you a sense of peace and safety. So you can choose an amount that is feasible for you to put, for example, every month in this emergency fund, and maybe you will have it built in 6 months or 1 year of time, inshallah. What you can also do is you can choose to include other people in your emergency fund as well, be it your kids, your parents, anything that you can, or anyone that you can think of, and inshallah build even a greater sense of safety, fulfillment, and peace, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the means to build this and even further wealth. Ameen. Now, my dear sister, I hope this was helpful. Inshallah, let me know if emergency funds were something you already heard of, or if this concept is completely new for you. And also share it with other sisters that you think might benefit from knowing about this very valuable tool as well, inshallah. As always, Jazakallah khairan for watching. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah wabarakatuh.